Today we are looking at the Treasure Fest Online 14 exclusive Sarujirushi Shin Godzilla 4th Form base version. Let's not waste any damn time and look at this immaculate 8th colorway for this figure. Yes, so this figure's head sculpt isn't necessarily more intimidating than the Passion Tank, but there's something about this head sculpt. Maybe it's where the eyes are placed, how kind of flat-headed he is, that big almost grin he has. It just makes me wet. I love the sculpt on this figure, and I love that with this brand new mold colorway, because this is we don't have a green blank yet, the sculpt just gets exaggerated and contains new depth of the sculpt. There's small things here like on the thighs and on the belly that I didn't quite see before, or just all the little marks that are through all of his kind of membrane muscle parts. There's more scratches in there I've noticed on this figure than the past releases, and it just shows how beneficial different mold colors help these sculpts. I am blown away by the Sarujirushi Shin once again, 8 times in a row. It's just amazing, these tree trunk, thick goth girl mommy thighs, and this big old tail, it's so curved, it has so much detail. The tip of the tail is creepy looking. It's just done really, really well. Okay. I'm blown away once again by this sculpt. Sarujirushi, you don't disappoint. So when it comes to the sculpt of this figure, I'm going to have to give it a perfect 10. Not that that should be a surprise. So moving on to the highlights and the paint, this is also the first Sarujirushi Shin Godzilla that's not completely painted. He just has highlights. He's got a blue and kind of a silver highlight and wash on him. It's really, really cool. It's mainly blue with a silver wash on it, besides the toenails, the fingernails, and the dorsal plates, which are silver. But these blue bits, some of them, like on the arms here, are just blue and they're metallic. And then there's other ones, like on the thighs, where you can see towards the end, it's kind of lighter and almost has like a silver look on it. It's just done really, really immaculate. Look at them sweet Shin Godzilla toes. I mean, these thick thighs are just beautiful, and the highlights just give off that almost radiated feel. He looks kind of like he's glowing under these lights. So I don't know what paint tricks they used on this release, but it once again shows that Sarujirushi still hasn't shown us everything yet, and they've got some really fancy tricks in the book. Now, probably my favorite part of this figure, when it comes to these highlights and the paint, is this streak of blue down the back with the silver dorsal plates on top. This is mind-numbingly gorgeous, and it makes me hungry. It looks edible, and I love the way that it looks. Even looking at it straight from the back, just looking at that silver and that blue is super unique. I've not seen a Shin Godzilla that looks like this, a Sofubi release, and I'm just impressed. And I like that the blue doesn't just stop at the butt, it goes all the way down to the tip of the tail. It is such an impressively gorgeous looking figure sitting on my shelf, and it looks incredibly different compared to the 4 other painted figures we already have. I'm just really blown away by this. It could be my favorite out of all of them. I can't tell you. Now, it does have some articulation, as you can see. The head rotates. The arms rotate as well, you know, up and down. This one feels a little bit tighter. The vinyl almost feels a little bit harder, but it is the same. The thighs, for sure, are way more stuck on this release than past releases, which is fine. You know, we don't really need to move it, in my opinion. But the tail can still rotate in both ways, so you can technically get it to be longer rather than curving up. It's up to you on your preference, though this guy would get super duper long. We also have the Yamakichi and Made in Japan stamp, and of course this is officially licensed by Toho. So, now that we're at the end of the review, let's look at some size comparisons, and let me sum up my thoughts here on this figure. So, this Shin Godzilla is impressive. Looking at it here with the last release and the 2 other painted colorways, this figure is super unique on the shelf. The sculpt, once again, has new layers that I didn't see on these other molds before. And the highlights and the paint, the colorway that they chose for it is very, very unique, especially in my collection. And it's just genuinely very appealing to me. I do get a little hungry looking at it. It looks edible. It's very fruity, and I love that. I'm just completely impressed by this figure, okay? Not putting biasness into it that this is my favorite Sofubi sculpt and my favorite Sofubi figure. This thing is just damn impressive, which is why I'm ending up giving it a perfect 10 out of 10. The sculpt is perfect. It's a 10. The colorway is, once again, perfect. It's a 10. So my overall satisfaction is obviously a 10. I am just completely blown away by this release again, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. I love this figure. If you guys want one, you're going to have to use Yahoo Japan and buy and just hope that another one pops up. Very impressed with this figure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and the review, and I'll see you guys later this week for more Kaiju awesomeness.